it right now. You want your man to smell like that? Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Sam, and this is the Knit Ritz podcast.
This week we're doing scents and some tastes.
Yeah.
Sensory details. Yeah. And how we write them and how some well-known authors, a lot of ACOTAR here because that's the ones that are very easy to find a full list, which is interesting. But, some other ones too. Yeah, so I have, this is one of my things, but before we get into it, let's do reading check-ins. So I only read student work. That's
Nice.
it.
Are we just talking about the last week, or are we talking about since the last time we recorded?
Let's just say recently. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We took a break. Yeah.
we did take a break. So, two updates then, I guess. This week I've read 4 books. Yeah, since I started Tuesday of last week, and today is Monday. So yes, I've read 4 books in a week.
That's awesome.
I read a series.
Remember when you thought you couldn't do 25 or something in a year? And I was like, bitch, yes, you can.
Which is what I was going to say next. I think that hit my 25 mark for the year, and we are in March.
Done with her year reading. That's awesome.
So yeah, no, I've just decided that like my year goal needs to be much bigger, and so I'm like, maybe, what was yours? Is yours 100?
Mine's 100. I'm a little behind right now, but once I finish grading, I can catch up. And hopefully stay catching up because I do want to read more. But yeah, I started playing Pokemon Pokopia, which is very popular right now. I do see all the streamers are playing it, and I don't like watching them though because I just like want to discover everything. But it's the kind of thing where you have to like I always want to listen to stuff, so maybe I'll listen to an audiobook while I do it. Oh, I am listening to Lord of the Rings right now. I'm just on the last part of the Two Towers. And I've been listening to Lord of the Rings since the beginning of the semester, in the car ride to class.
Nice.
Because I have like an hour commute, although I don't have an hour commute anymore now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And so you read the 4 books in this week, and then what was the other thing you were gonna say?
Yeah, I think I've hit my year mark. So I have read by myself, I think I'm at 20, and then, or just south of it, 18 or 19. And then my husband and I,
by yourself. Then I remembered.
Yeah, well, and so then Topher and I have been rereading. I've been rereading.
You're rereading. He's reading for the first time.
He's reading for the first time. We've been reading ACOTAR together.
So you're his audiobook narrator.
I am his audiobook. And it's funny. So we started off with Throne of Glass, and that didn't work for a number of, because I kept reading ahead, and it just was, I'm a monster. And so he would be like, "Oh, where are you at?" And I'm like, fucking 60 pages past where you went to bed, dude. Then we stopped, and then I convinced him to read together. And I said, well, let's start with ACOTAR instead. And he's a monster and started with book 2. But it's fine.
Not just book 2. Chapter 7, book 2.
Yeah. He was like, I don't need any of the beginning fluff. Let's just get into it. But so now we have finished ACOTAR, and we're in Crescent City, and he has lots of thoughts about Crescent City. But it's funny because I feel like the more so I've never been particularly comfortable reading out loud. And so I get a little stumbly sometimes, but I've noticed that since reading, I don't know, 5.5 books together now, not only am I more comfortable, but now I have like inflection. Like I don't do character voices, but I have like different inflections for different characters. And he seems to find it very funny that like the way that I like emote when I'm reading like Hunt versus Bryce, or like Bryce is very snarky, and then Hunt is very like flat affect. And so he's like, I'm digging the difference. Although he's hilarious. So there was one night I had a headache, but he wanted to read. So he's like, well, I'll read out loud and you just listen. And we were reading Silver Flames, and he goes,
And he was
He wasn't a spicy thing, but he goes, so I want you to know that I want to say this with my full voice, my full chest, but the kids are sleeping. And I said, okay. And he goes, Cassian, Nesta yelled. I was like,
Cassie and Nesta, yeah.
yeah. So, and now
That's
we have
funny.
like all sorts of inside jokes that are Akatar related, which is great. And he has sent me not reels because we're not old. He sent me TikTok
You can do the
on
reels.
Instagram. Yeah. Um, but he sent me like book talk stuff. And then he came home the other day and he was like, I sent you 2 book talk things. And now I'm inundated with book talk. And I'm like, yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's what we do, babe. And
That's what
so,
algorithms are,
yeah,
dear.
yeah. And so he's like, I gotta fucking find my car shit again. But yeah.
Oh, I have to confess to the podcast that I have been reading Zodiac Academy. I just had to see what the fuck people were on about because they just talked for so long about this series being so hated, so loved, and so I was like, I'm gonna hear, I'm gonna figure, I'm gonna see, and I can see why people, I do still think it's better than reality TV. I'd much rather read a Zodiac Academy book than watch any ounce of reality TV.
Fair.
And it's probably the same kind of itch that gets
Yeah,
scratched.
yeah.
Like it's drama, and but it's there are some parts that are good,
Yeah,
and
it's a
some
little drama, it's a little cringe.
villains that I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They are shockingly infuriating. Like, you know that feeling you get when you like read about Umbridge, like that, but like maybe
Got
more.
it. Okay. Okay.
It's crazy, and I was like not expecting that. I was not expecting to be like um sucked into really hating this, like
Yeah.
some of these villains,
There
and
was
also it's very sitcom. It's kind of like
yeah.
not cozy, but there's something about it. I get what people are talking
It's
about.
like comfort food. It's like trash comfort food.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and
it's
but the writing is bad in some places, particularly with the social media.
yeah.
Oh, it's so cringy, but
Was it
other parts are
Facebook?
fine.
Facebook?
Yeah. I'm like, girl, this is so dated. Like,
Yeah.
no one uses Facebook, and so when you have Facebook, you just sound like my boomer mom wrote this. Like, and that's the worst part about it. Actually, that is the single worst part about those books so far is that they have Facebook posts.
Nice.
But yeah, sorry. So that's what I've been doing in the recent past since we took our
Mhm.
little break from recording.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I haven't read anything in like 2 weeks because I've been grading and stuff.
I wrote a little bit. I edited a chapter, which
Nice.
I said I would not do, and then I ended up editing the wrong chapter that I wanted to because I thought that that's where my little
Oh.
battle scene was. But it is what it is. Yeah, I went to Starbucks one Saturday, Sunday morning or something, and was just
Mhm.
like, I'm just gonna stick around for a little bit, and then I had I don't know, a scene kind of popped into my head about a speech, like the rallying war speech that
Mhm.
Gideon would give at some point. And so I wrote that. It was like 600-ish words. It's rough and has
Yeah.
no extra stuff. It's really just his speech. Um and that'll probably be in like book 3. Who knows? But I was
Mhm.
like, I need to get this
It's
little,
just the
because
vibe.
I was like, it was like replaying in my head out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, I need to write this down because like,
Yeah.
it just needs to leave my head, and I haven't thought about it since. So that's how that works.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, now I just need to. I had a couple of plot hole problems that you helped me with, and
Oh
at
yeah.
this point, I just need to like just write it. Just let it be shit and let it be bones. Let it have all of the flaws. Let it have plot holes. Let it have wrong names, and then I
Mhm.
can edit it. Editing sounds daunting as fuck. Um, and editing the one chapter, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a lot of work. But if I
Well, were
can
you doing
kind of figure out the
copy
plot
level
hole that I
edits?
had.
Were you doing like grammar stuff right now at that edit, or just like
No, 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 like story stuff.
okay, okay? Because I was like, that will bog me
Yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah, no, oh yeah, no, that whatever. But um it bogs you down, but it's easier. No, I'm talking about the like actual like story mechanisms and making sure I
Mm.
have like the right and like there's some stuff that I want to change, and I'm like, just don't change it, just keep writing it. Like, and so there's like I have comments on the side of chapters where I'm like, she shouldn't have known about this, rewrite this, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how this person is here in this battle scene, move him here, and this is how this person is going to be injured instead of this way, and like change this guy's magic to this. So like, I have like the comments so that I remember what I need to do.
Yeah.
But some of those chapters I feel like are just going to get completely rewritten, which is fine.
Yeah. It's fine. You still learn something every time you write something.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And
um,
I've been there's I feel like the reading that I've done so far this year, because I feel like when I read something, I end up taking on a little bit of that tone or that voice when I'm
definitely.
writing. But I think that I've read so many different authors so far that that's starting to level out where I don't feel
Well, and
like,
that's like why people need to read a lot because
yeah,
you
and
will take on the voice of
yeah,
whatever you're
because
in.
there's like a couple times where I'm like, oh, that sounds very SJM, or like
Mm-hmm.
I read like 14 books of LJ Andrews, and I love her, but there was like something I was writing, and I was like, oh, that's very Broken Kingdoms. Like, switch this up, like. But at
Mm-hmm.
this point, I feel like there's things that I like in each, and really, it's gotten to the point where I'm starting to see more of like how stories get created as opposed to the voice or the
Mm-hmm.
details of it. So thinking like there was one thing I was like trying to figure out. I was like, okay, well, why would this thing work or not work? And then I was like, okay, well, how does that thing work or not work in other stories? Just to look at the mechanisms of it, right? I'm like, okay, if I
Yeah.
need there to be a secret, what are all the like other characters that I've read? How does what is their secret? How does it play out? Do they have one? How long do they keep it? Like, what is the tension?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
so mostly, and that's what reading is for, right? To kind of figure out
Yeah.
those arcs and those
And a lot of that
structures.
stuff you even get from like TV, movies, stuff you
Mhm.
just any
Yeah,
media that has any kind of narrative,
yeah,
you know.
exactly. And so trying to figure that out a little bit. I've been looking at like the way that conflict and kind of plays out and how long that lasts, and when
Mm-hmm.
it feels satisfying for that conflict to be there and when it feels dragged out.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things, and I agree with it to an extent, but when I took the like one creative writing class that I did in community college, he said that every story needs to have two characters who want like opposite things and don't budge. So like one is we're going to the store and the other one is we're not going to the store, and those can never change. And I'm like, well, how the fuck do you get your story to move on if they never change? But I get what he's getting at. He was like trying to have us write. It was simple and it whatever.
Yeah.
But then I was like,
You
look,
told me about that advice before, and I'm always like, okay.
yeah, I don't love it. But then I'm like looking at it in other stories where I'm like trying to figure out like when do the characters kind of diametrically oppose each other, right? Like Zayden and Violet,
I
right?
was thinking of them first too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I want you to tell me everything. I can't tell you everything. And like how long that just plays
Yeah.
out. I'm not going to. I want you to, kind of a thing. And
And
what's at
that
stake?
probably plays out too long.
It plays out way too fucking long.
Yeah.
And like, there's even moments
And
and
it's
like in
really
books
because
when
like,
people
it's
are,
not believable that it plays out that long for something like that.
yeah, and then the other thing is like how long should characters keep their thoughts and emotions to themselves as opposed to just having hard conversations? Because it's
Mhm.
really annoying when people just don't talk to each other, when the entire story could just be fixed if people just said something to each other. That's that like
Yeah.
miscommunication trope, even.
Which, and to be fair, the problem with the miscommunication trope isn't that they're miscommunicating; it's that there's a problem of stakes. Because if things can be solved with just a conversation, you don't have real conflict because you don't
Yeah,
really have a problem. You're just
yeah,
making one up, and that's why everyone hates it as a trope. If there's actual like this person's central conflict is that they cannot speak about something because it's so disturbing or so
yeah.
difficult, or they're so egotistical or proud or whatever,
Mhm.
then you have real tension. But if you just
Yeah,
have people who like haven't gotten around to telling them, the reader's
yeah.
gonna lose their fucking mind because there's
Well,
no real stakes and there's no
yeah,
real reason to read.
yeah.
Like,
And like there's ones where like there's been a glamour placed on them so they can't talk about what they know, and they can with the main character, but
you
they
just
can't
remind me of
without
something else too.
outsiders, right? So it's like
Yeah,
she knows his secret. He has bound her to not speak about it to anybody but the six people who know about it. And she's dying to tell other people and she
yeah.
can't. Good. I'm fine with that, right? Because the
And that
communication
is
can,
actual, like,
yeah,
yes, that's
and the
not a
stakes are
miscommunication
high.
trope.
If people figure that out, then fucking war happens, shit goes wild, right? Like the stakes are high, that's fine. But when it's just like, I really love him and I know he loves me, but I can't tell him. Okay. What?
Yeah,
Like
and you can
there's
do
no
that even for, like, a little bit, but not, like, 2 books or, like, a whole
yeah.
book or something. You can do
Yeah.
it for, like, a
Yeah.
couple chapters.
Yeah. And if
Um,
it's like,
maybe half a
I can't tell him that I killed his mom or something, like that's different. If there's
yes.
real secrets with real stakes, that's fine. But if it's just like, oh, I'm worried that this mate bond means that I don't really love him and it's just predetermined and it's not really me, then fucking say that. Clearly he has the same fucking qualms. Like,
Mhm.
just say it.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially if you're already fucking banging twice a day and exchanging pretty little gifts to each other. I'm like, there's already trust there. You've already saved each other's fucking
Mhm.
lives. Why can't you just be like, hey, I just need a minute?
Yeah.
Like that's what gets annoying. And the same thing with like the Violet Zayden thing, because like she's being ridiculous. And she's
Yeah.
ridiculous for the entire second book.
Remember that book. How much I read it
Yeah.
really fast, like, a
I
year ago.
audiobooked it and I remember like at some point was just like, okay, you gotta stop whining.
But
Like,
I read
please.
them so fast that I think I just don't remember, but I also read it knowing, "Oh, people hate this book." So I just kinda, like, wasn't critiquing it at
People
all and just,
hate
like,
they hate the
Iron
second book
what is it
in the
called?
Iron Flame. They
Yeah.
hate the second book in the series? Or they
Yeah.
hate that
People hate
series?
Iron Flame. Oh, both,
Yeah, well,
but
that's fair.
people hate specifically Iron Flame. A lot of people say, "I love Fourth Wing, hate Flame," and
Mhm.
I don't get that. They seem the same to me.
Yeah.
I think there's not really problems. I think there's an issue of stakes in the first book too, which is
Mhm.
like someone told you don't like this boy and you clearly like him insta love
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like you're sad about like there's no real to me there's the conflict is all like maybe like the war and like stuff like the actual like plot stuff and
Mhm.
their romance which should be much more central, much more tense and it just has no stakes to me. But I just was like, I'm gonna just read this.
I did.
It was a great procrastination book.
I did, I was reading so there's a side character in this book that I'm reading, and she's in like, her there's 2 side characters and they're interested in each other, right? And, like, she's like, I've felt the tension, I've seen the glances, like, I'm pretty sure, like, if we cross that line now, and, like, they're on the, like, the eve of like a world-ending war, right?
Mhm.
And she's like, I have shit that I have to get done, and like I'm already worried about my friends and family dying. Like I can't let one more person in because then I won't be able to do what I need to do. I'm fine with that. But then at some point it gets a little bit more like, I don't know. I told Tiffany, I was like, I'm too much of a slut. Cause like if I might die tomorrow, I'm certainly not fucking the guy that I like. You know what I mean? I'm like, if we're gonna die tomorrow, we're gonna do it now.
Yeah. Yes. That
What?
is normal and human. That's what people
Yeah,
do.
yeah. And she was like, I can't. And like the justification made sense. She was like, I lost my sisters, I lost my dad, I've lost friends. Like, I have to, like, and she had to betray him. Like, they were going somewhere and she had to, like, secretly ditch him to go do something else. And she was like, if I let this happen, I won't be able to leave him. And I really need to go.
Okay, that's a little more believable, I will
Yeah,
say.
and that worked for me. But then after she did it, she comes back and she's like, "Do you forgive me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I forgive you." And I'm like, "So fuck.
Why
What are
aren't
we
you fucking?
what are we doing here?" And then he like kisses her and she's like, "I knew for what it was. It wasn't a promise of tomorrow, but a goodbye." And I'm like, "A kiss? Go get your man." You
What in the
get
what?
you get a goodbye bang, not a goodbye kiss.
Yeah,
I
that's
told
funny.
Topher, I was like, I'm too much of a slut for this slow burn stuff. I would have been like you, drop it, let's go.
Oh, I love a good slow burn, but it needs to have for real reasons beside, yeah.
But yeah.
Um, and God, so many things are reminding me of Zodiac Academy. It's crazy.
I will say that this book probably has, it doesn't have insta love, but it does have insta lust. That turns
Which is
into
better
more,
than Insta Love.
yeah. And that's
That's
part of
like
it. They're
Nesta
like,
and Cassian, kind of.
yeah, and they're kind of like, we fucking hate each other, but like I kind of also can't get enough of that. Like they hate each other on principle and for the roles that they have to play.
Yeah.
He's like, why can't you just fucking step up to the lead? And she's like, why can't you just go fuck yourself? And then she's like, or better yet,
Fuck
um,
me.
yeah, pretty much. And like, they're like arguing turns into tension and there's attraction and blah, 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 and whatever else. And so like it works, but there's a couple of parts where I was just like, really? We're already begging? Okay. But then I was also, I'm like, it's book 4 and you're about to die. Get your man.
Yeah. But
But
yeah,
yeah.
so I didn't write shit, and
Nice.
sadly.
Nice. Yeah.
So, but I'm thinking about it. I'm gearing up. I'm gonna do it for
Yeah.
real soon.
Yeah.
Who knows
I
when?
I need to actually pull up the outline that we made together so that I can go chapter by chapter and just follow that and use that instead of fucking raw dogging life. It's like
I do
cool.
kind of count reading a lot as like kind of writing
Hmm.
because I'm at least like getting to know
Hmm.
what's out there a little bit better because
Yeah.
I'm still so underread in terms of like the current fantasy and
Yeah.
romance. Even though I really don't think I'll write a romance. I think I'll maybe write a little more like fantasy romance as opposed to romantasy or romance
Yeah.
fantasy. Maybe just like little subplots of romance.
Well, that, yeah,
Um
you'll probably we're like the romance isn't the main plot point. It exists, but it's not the main plot point.
yeah, it'll probably exist.
Yeah. Mine's a
But
plot
yeah.
point.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, like that's fine. I don't know. For some reason, I just don't want to. Even though I thought
Hmm.
I might. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just certainly is a little more marketable. But whatever.
Or
Okay.
not. I saw someone on TikTok who was like, I got like 170 in like queries this year, and I'll tell you that 165 of them were for the exact same book, basically. She's like, they're all the same. And I'm like,
For
okay.
romance, for
Yeah.
romantasy.
For romantasy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the problem with that's the part of why I'm not like super interested in it because I don't know if I could do like a new thing with the
Yeah.
romance
Hmm.
because I think romance isn't really my like forte. I think
Yeah.
like Um, I don't know if I have a lot of fortes. I think maybe like an actual sentence level writing is
Yeah.
my closest thing to my forte. Not even planning shit out. I think I just yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But yeah, so let's
let's
talk
talk
about
sense.
sense and tastes.
Yeah, and so should we talk Akatar sense first?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're the
because this
easiest to find.
probably the most
And
wide. Like everyone knows the
yes.
Akatar, the Mossverse books.
Yes.
Really, we've pulled up a Reddit thread. Maybe I'll probably post that in the description.
Yeah.
That just has like all of them, all of the scents in the world. It is 3 years old, so there's probably some stuff not in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, let's talk girls first. So we've got Aelin, Feyre, and Bryce. Aelin is jasmine, lemon verbena, and crackling embers.
Mhm.
Feyre is lilac and pear. Bryce is lilac and nutmeg. So, actually, let's back up. Let's talk about scents in general. What do we? So, I mean, well, do we
Do
talk
you
about the examples and then talk about what they do after?
okay, so first
That's
off,
yeah.
is there the sense being attributed to people, do you feel that that's realistic?
No, because I don't think anybody thinks. Okay, I think when you smell someone, first of all, most people smell like a deodorant or like a perfume.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't think people have like, and let's say these characters are just putting on a jasmine perfume.
Yeah.
But I think most perfumes are also not like a singular scent. They are a
Yeah.
mix of things because if you just smell like just orange, like
Mhm.
maybe that's nice, but usually the complexity of the scent is what makes a scent compelling.
Yeah.
That's why no perfume just smells like orange.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so the things that entice people about a smell, I think, are like the entanglements of
Mhm.
scents, and that's why you can never be like, you may actually more people go, that smells like name of perfume
Yeah.
and not that smells like these 3 items. And
Does anybody in the Zodiac Academy, do they smell like Axe body spray?
no, but also if it was in Zodiac, they would say like Faye Axe, like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the names are changed.
They
Like
they smell like daggers and ice.
no, okay, one of the
Daggers and
characters
ice body spray.
they all have sense, but I just only remember the one, and I just didn't want to. to look up. I don't want to get spoilers
Yeah.
because I'm still in the middle. But so the one I know is there's one character who's the scent of just cinnamon. I do like the simplicity of that, and I do think cinnamon is one of those that maybe someone could recognize.
Mhm.
Um,
I
but
feel
also
like
if you think of the smell of cinnamon, I don't. There's why would you?
there
Why are you smelling
are
like that all the
and
time?
this now you're gonna get into my culinary brain for a second. There are scents and and tastes that I call flavor bullies. That if you
Cinnamon is one of them.
cinnamon is a flavor bully.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
so intense. You
It's
know.
so intense and you can and nutmeg to some degree can also be a flavor bully. Um Citrus in general is a
Yeah.
flavor bully. Um and if you
Although
use
in
too much
scent form, it is a little like it feels like fresh, you know,
it
because
does
it's like
feel
well, I
fresh,
think we associate
but
with
if
cleaning
you use
products.
too much, yeah, that's the thing. If you use too much of it though, then you're going to smell like pine salt.
Yeah,
Which is why Topher doesn't like me to make my lemon pasta because he says that it tastes like a cleaning solution, which he's a dick, and it does not. It's delicious. But anyways,
yeah.
um,
It probably
but
doesn't like lemon that much.
I yeah, and like there's certain people that like my grandma always smelled like the crappy peppermint candies, the old lady peppermint candies and
Mhm.
cigarettes. But that's because
Yes,
she always
cigarettes. Like, okay,
smelled
I can
and
smell a
had
cigarette,
peppermint.
and I'd be like, "That's Marlboro Lights." Like, but you know what I mean? But I still don't say that's Sycamore. Blah blah blah. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
sure those are. You know, I don't know.
She smelled
That
like she smelled like Virginia Slims and yeah, and or
yeah,
like,
but
coffee and cigarettes that, like, my cousin is like, she's like, "That reminds me of my mom, coffee and cigarettes." Like, it's first thing
yes.
in the morning, that's what the fucking house smells like.
But
And
even
so
that is sort of not specific. It's not like, you know, whatever.
yeah.
It's
I
specific, but it's not like the way that like orange is specific. I will say I think cinnamon is an interesting one because again, you say it's a flavor bully. When I imagine cinnamon, I get that like taste of Big Red, and I'm
yeah.
like, that's what that guy smells like. It's
Mhm.
just not a nice. I don't like that, and I'm sure it's a lighter version of the cinnamon, but like, it just doesn't seem good. It seems like
Well
someone liked the word cinnamon or the idea of cinnamon
mhm.
and said, "I want my character to smell like this," and
Yeah.
didn't think it through.
What I think
That's what
is
it reeks of
what
to
I
me.
what I do
Reeks.
like with the sense and smell and like smells and I guess taste by extension are when they can note a characteristic of the character.
Yes.
Now, I
Yes.
don't like when it's so abstract when he's like, "They smell like starlight." That doesn't have a scent, but okay. But, like,
Yeah.
when it's like so cinnamon and vanilla, they're warm scents, right?
Mhm.
So, Allied smelling like cinnamon or more citrus and cinnamon, right? It's fresh but warm.
Citrus and cinnamon smells it's I'm, like,
Citrus and cinnamon
picturing
is
that, and
Christmas.
it
No,
seems
it's Chris.
terrible.
Nope, it's Christmas. If you take oranges and cinnamon sticks and you boil them together, it's
Okay.
Christmas.
But I don't see that. I sort of imagine them separately, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yuck,
Yeah,
Big
no.
Red and orange juice.
Yeah, well,
Sounds
actual
terrible."
cinnamon doesn't smell like Big Red. That's some fake ass cinnamon shit. But yes.
Yeah, but that's, like, what I smell, like,
Yeah,
every
no.
time,
Citrus and
and
cinnamon,
I hate it.
that is Christmas season, baby girl.
Yeah. I mean, I do think like okay, so as like so okay, sorry. Part of the reason I get annoyed with scents is because of logistics. People also can't name scents usually. They go, that smells like something, you
Mhm.
know, that smells
Or
like
you s
Christmas. That
yeah,
smells like a
yeah,
time of year or something like that. And
or a
I think
place.
that's much better. I'd rather hear Reese smells like springtime
Yeah,
then, like, smells like whatever.
yeah.
Like, I think that's actually how people talk and think. Now, I will say, as a like, a characterization, I think if it was done less frequently, like,
Mhm,
it's the other problem is that they're used constantly once they have a scent. It's like, "And then I smell blah, blah, blah," and I think that's a terrible shorthand.
mhm.
And I think it could be a nice texture on a
Yeah.
character to give them this added dimension, but I just think it's overused. And so,
Mhm.
if it was, like, one time, like, because really what happens if you're gonna get these specific scents, you need someone to be like usually the first time they smell them, they go, "Oh, that smell," and that it kinda smells like rain and, like citrus, some kind of citrus, right? It's someone guessing in their head about
Yeah.
it, and then but they're not pinning it down, and they're like surprised by the smell and they want to figure it out because they're intrigued by the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
That's when you can have like I think a natural sort of like meditation on it, and
Mhm.
then maybe you can reference that. But to say always citrus and sea, citrus and salt, blah blah blah, I
Yeah.
think it's too much.
Yeah. I do
And
like
that's
I
what I
don't
hate about
mind
it.
when it's and this is where, like, so, like, uh, the logistics of it I like. For theorizing, I don't like it, but when it's like, "They smell like citrus and cinnamon and something else I could and something else, or something else I couldn't place." Logistically, that makes sense to me, where I'm like, "Okay," where, like, if I smelled someone, I'm like, "Oh, that's like, this and some other stuff," because it's a blend of
Mhm.
aromas
Yes.
for their deodorant, fine. But then I hate it when theorizing because I'm like, "Well, what's the something else? What are you not telling
Oh,
me?"
I like it when theorizing because like when we have this list pulled up of all the ACOTAR characters and we're like, Feyre and Bryce are both lilac, and
Mhm.
Aelin is crackling embers, and so is Cassian. I kind of
Yeah.
like, I mean, yeah, my conspiracy numerology brain is like, where are they
Yeah,
lining
but
up? Like,
that's when they actually
that's
name it,
probably
not
not real theories.
yeah, but I meant when they're just like, "And something else I couldn't place." Like, there's a few of that in Crescent City where it's like,
Mhm.
"She smells like this and something else." And you're like, "Well, what's the something else?" And so,
I kind of like that.
that's fair. But, like, what does a winter sunrise smell like? Are you kidding me right now?
Did someone say that?
Nesta smells like steel and fire and winter sunrise. Okay.
No.
Dorian
You know,
smells
to
like
be fair, that's probably
sea
not
and
like used very
sea
often.
and winter morning. So he smells like cold salt.
See in
He
winter
smells
morning.
briny.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I do like that Lysandris is ever changing. Makes sense. She's a shifter. I love that. I
Mhm.
like that Rowan's is pine and snow because it's the same as
Yes, I think
Pearson.
that's a good
That's
use
a
of
good one.
scent
Yes, that's a
because
good
it's terracin, and
it's
that's
home.
and
Yeah.
and I will say pine and snow is almost generic enough.
Mhm.
I will say a person to smell like snow, it's a little hard.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think
Well,
what you're sort of imagining is like that cold,
that
right?
or oh, would a winter morning smell like snow?
Yeah.
Interesting. But anyways, I think it's like, you know how we can smell rain, which apparently is an American thing, by the way. But how, how we can like smell
Petrichor.
rain?
It's an American thing.
Yeah, I saw someone on TikTok who is British, and he was talking about how he's heard that Americans can smell rain, and he was
Oh,
like,
maybe
I know
because it's the smell of it on tar, and British has way less tar because they have
maybe,
more
but
like
he
old
was just like,
white.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody can smell the rain, you fucking witches. And then he like was living in the States for a while, and he was like, I did it, I smelt the rain. He was like really excited about it. He was like, it has a distinct smell. And like rain smells completely different in the desert because I grew up in the desert. Like the
Mm.
smell of rain in the desert is unlike any other smell I've ever smelled. And
Why is that?
I don't know, I
Probably
could
just
not
'cause
tell.
it's different, like, the sand is this
Because it's
instead of
completely dry, so you can smell like, I don't know, it's just like it completely changes the entire smell of the air in the desert,
mm.
and, like, I have like, even, I'm in the Pacific Northwest right now, it rains all the time, it does not smell like that up here, and it's one of those smells that if I smelled it, I would know exactly. Like, I would be the one to be like, "That smells like rain in the desert," which is wild, but I wouldn't say it's I don't know. Yeah, sometimes it's too specific and it feels a little weird to be like,
Just like,
really?
how can a person smell like desert rain? It's a cool scent, but can a person really smell like it?
I mean, if they're dry as fuck and just took a shower, maybe.
I mean, you could say wet dog.
Yeah, yep,
I
yep.
just don't like, how is someone getting this on them? You know, you can put jasmine something, I don't know,
Well,
is
a lot
jasmine a
of times
flower?
it is with soap,
Yeah.
right? Because like
Yes.
Bryce and Feyre and Aelin all use doesn't Aelin also smell like lavender?
Lavender? Not anymore!
And Bryce apparently doesn't smell like lavender, but she washes Hunt with lavender soap too. Um, but yeah, so like yeah, a lot of it is the soap. And
And
like
I
even
think that is fair. Like, if you say strawberry and banana shampoo, I'm here
yeah.
for it. I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine.
Mhm.
I don't care." But, like, when you say someone smells like a strawberry, it's weird.
Well, especially if that's like, they like Reese always smells like citrus and sea, even when he's like covered in war filth. You're like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, they
no.
imply that it's their actual body odor that's like that as opposed to, like, a perfume or a soap. And, because I do think people do have their, like, sort of signature perfumes and soaps, and, like, that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Hmm.
And you can smell those, but, like,
But
I
I
don't
don't think
know.
that anybody smells like those things naturally.
Yeah, and see, now here's the thing, it's like, "Okay, guys, this isn't fucking real world, this is fantasy, let's" like, okay. And
Yeah,
also, I
and
wanna be in the fantasy world, and if I'm thinking about how no one can smell fucking pear, well, maybe you can smell pear, whatever, sea, then I'm gonna be like, "I'm not in my fantasy world now."
well,
Um,
and the only thing that I can say that could work for this within the fantasy context is that most of the people that are saying that they, at least the things that I've noticed, when scents like this come up, it's usually in stories that have to do with fae, and fae have a heightened smell. And so I'm wondering if they could
okay,
parse it out
I
better.
think that is fair to have a fae with the smell
Yeah.
thing, then that is
Because,
more
like,
fair, but it's still
yeah,
a
because
little
at some
like
point, like, even Feyre says, like, there was a cacophony of spices that she can smell, and she was like, "Am I fae smelling?" She was like, somehow they could indicate each one and also the aroma together because her face sense can kind of, she was like, that was saffron and turmeric and cinnamon and nutmeg and blah blah, blah, but also together it has a one scent as well. And I'm okay with that. I'm
yes,
okay if this
I
is.
think that's a lore reason, that's like,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I like when it's indicative of the character, right? It makes sense that Tamlin smells like lilac and cedar and something earthy.
Because he's spring
He's
court.
spring court, right? And
Even
like,
that, he might have magic that makes him smell like that. I like that better than, like,
yeah.
you know, Reese emits citrus.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I don't know. I just, yeah. Or like, Sartak smells like wind and mountain springs. Of course he does, because he's flying and he
mhm.
lives in.
I mean, I think I prefer, like, Cassian to smell like, fucking damp leather. Because he's always cleaning in his stupid, like, that would
Yeah.
make sense. And
He
it
should
becomes
smell
this thing that
he
you're like,
should
"Oh,
smell
I
like
love
the
that
sea.
smell of whatever."
Cassian should smell like the sea. He's a salty bitch. He is sweating. Yes, he should smell like
Yeah.
sea and leather.
Yeah, I do like so from a story perspective, I like the crackling embers with Cassian. I don't remember that, but with Nesta's fears,
Hmm.
that's an interesting take, and
Yep.
also it puts him in line with Aelin. I kind of think like Aelin and Cassian aligned. Probably not. It's probably just like she liked to say crackling embers, but like maybe it is a giveaway. And it's
Anyways,
Cassian.
back to
Okay,
smells.
so yeah, so.
I like so I utilize a little bit in my own writing about
Mm.
like with scents, but I do it for my so far. I do it for two reasons. So one of my main characters, her favorite smell is eucalyptus and mint, and it's a
See,
soap,
those are fair.
and her mother makes that, so like that's a soap that her mom makes. It's her favorite soap that her mom makes. She
Mhm.
and so she
And it's
smells
also,
like.
like, a bunch of teas are like that, so they're
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
recognizable.
Yeah, yeah. And she smells like that and she likes it. And then at some point, when she's off on her little quest, some of the soap that has been packed for her is that soap. And she's got, like, oh mommy, because she got mommy
See,
problems.
but that's useful.
And so like it makes more sense. It's the smell of her soap, and it's what like it's her favorite smell, and so that's what she wears. Her body, if she goes unwashed for 6 months, is not gonna smell like
Just
eucalyptus
smells
and
like
mint.
freaking BO. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also like essence type smells where it's like they smell clean, or they smell floral, or they smell sweet, or they smell bitter,
Yes.
or they smell, like
Although
sweat, like
bitter is a hard
musky.
one.
Yeah, but or like
Yeah.
musky and like whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
The mortals in my world, they have an earthy smell to them. And then she's like, I think she's like, and then she wonders if it harkens back to their mythology that they're created from the earth. that they have like an earthy clay smell to like just like an undertone of it where she's just like, just like cats have a certain undertone smell and dogs have a certain undertone smell, right? Horses have a certain undertone smell. You can kind of whatever. She's like, they have like an earthy scent to it, but it's not everything like, oh, they smell like freshly tilled soil and cedar. No, it's just earthy.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like the earthy, and it still is a little bit like, but yeah. But
But
it's
yeah, it's
yeah.
like the essence of things. Because I'm
Yeah.
not like, and I don't want to be like, oh, well, he has this, whatever dark kind of power. Oh, he smells like shadows. What the fuck? That's not a smell,
Yeah, I hate
you
shit
know?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He smells like cold
Um
chaos. That what? That's not a scent. Now, if he smells like the shadow realm that he goes to, that he has access to, and
that's
she
fair.
figures that out once she's also sucked into that realm,
Oh, you
okay.
smell like this magic. Yeah.
Yeah, then fine, but it would have to be like, say that it's related to their magic.
Mhm. Well, I think if you said, "Oh, you smell like this realm," we understand it's like, like, I think that's totally fine actually.
Yeah.
I think it's literally just the repetition of like, and then from behind me, I smelled that cedar and cinnamon smell, and I turned and I knew he was like, shut
Yeah.
up, like
Like
just
other people could smell like cedar and cinnamon, bitch.
yeah. And I just
Yeah.
am like, you wouldn't. I don't know, like I don't like the way it's used a lot of the times. But I think it's fine in like in certain contexts.
Mhm.
I think it's just literally is overused. If these were
Okay.
like once that these were said, but it's
Mhm.
like just certain characters are a little too often.
Yeah.
And in kind of like passing as opposed to like, when you're cuddling with someone, you're like, what is that smell? Like the way that
Yeah.
normal people actually do.
Mhm.
Not, and again, I also want to avoid thinking that characters and stories have to be just like us and they have to be rational. Like on some level, we're in a fantasy world. We're trying to do fantasy shit.
Yeah.
But if people are acting so weird that it's not relatable, you're also going to be
Yeah.
not immersive.
Yeah.
But like, we can suspend some disbelief. But
Can we talk
yeah.
can we talk about the one that I hate the most?
Ho- Wait, are you talking about the taste?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so scent's very tangled up with taste, but we haven't really talked about taste very much. But yeah, let's talk about taste as it refers to
Cunning
people.
linguist? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So, I don't think it's a secret that I'm not a fan of this series and I did not finish it. From Blood and Ash, the thing that irritates me the most, the second most irritating thing, because it's not the most irritating. It was the moment that there's a more irritating moment. That's when I DNF'd it. But every time he goes down on her, not only does he say it, but he also, or think it, he also says it to her and moans it to her that she smells like honeysuckle. No, 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 no.
Honeysuckle.
No, no,
They
no.
do
What is
melon.
honeydew melon? That's what it is. She smells like honeydew melon to the point where he like licks her crotch. He goes, honeydew. That's a problem. That's
Uh,
that's a problem for me because here two things. One, it's too specific.
yes.
Way too specific.
Biologically impossible.
Nobody's business. Nobody. It's the same problem you have with scents. Nobody smells like one thing. No one's like, that guy smells like oranges. That's weird. It's
Yeah.
gotta be a blend
Like,
of
why do you
stuff.
smell like that? Am I gonna have a stroke?
And also, vaginas don't taste like honeydew melon. They just
You just
do
don't.
not. They just do
No matter
not.
how clean your diet is,
They
you don't.
just do not. Now, if he's saying it's like, even if he was like, ooh, super sweet, yeah, okay, still, that's questionable because if it's too sweet,
Super sweet. Yeah, a
like,
little sweet.
that's a problem. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what magical vagina she has, but it does not taste like honeydew melon. I can promise you that.
No.
And it drives me nuts every time.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
It's the second worst thing that book does.
Yeah, The first thing is, like, where she, like, kills thousands of people and he's like, "That's hot." Is that the thing?
Yes!
Yeah.
That was the moment I literally pushed pause on the audiobook and said, "No more, I'm done." Yeah, no, I it's you just can't. And, like, even when, like, because people come in each other's mouths, right? And that's fine too, but, like, those are a blend of flavors. That's where we get our briny jokes from, right? That it's, like, sweet and musky or salty and sweet or what, like, okay, fine, 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 whatever. But if someone was like, I don't fucking kiwis. What?
No.
So obscure. Like honeydew melon is what? If Nesta was like Cassian came in my mouth and it tasted like kiwis, I would have DNF'd that fucking book. I'd be like, that's not real. It's not a real thing. Semen does not taste like that.
It sure doesn't. Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And yeah.
nowhere if you were trying to even create the smell or taste of lady bits, you would not use honeydew melon for that. There are
Yeah.
things that you could possibly mix together. There's even a scene in Orange is the New Black in which she's trying to do that. But let me tell you, honeydew melon was not the thing that she was rubbing on underpants to sell them because vaginas don't
I
smell like
never
honeydew
watched
melon.
that show. I have no
It's very funny.
that's
It's a good
crazy.
it's a good show. But anyways, it's too specific, and not only is it too specific, it's also unrealistic.
Yeah. And it's just weird.
Yeah, and to be very honest, I don't think you need to describe the flavor of that. Just
Yeah.
say it's good.
Describe the feeling of it, or if any, like,
Yeah, or
just
there's
don't.
lots of words that, amazing, exquisite, lovely, whatever. Use all the,
Yeah.
intoxicating, fine, 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 fine.
Yes, yeah. It's just too weird. Um, hmm. I will also say,
I see that you have ash in my mouth up
yeah,
here.
because we had originally talked about taste, and I always think it's weird, like, Farah, she goes to the human lands and she tastes their food, and she's like, "It was ash in my mouth," and I was like, "Girl, shut up!" Like, you're so like, I can't. I think it's just really like it's just meant to be like, I was shocked by how bad this tastes because I
Yeah.
have fade taste now.
That or I've seen it used because I've actually seen this same thing where it's like it went ash in my mouth, where it's like
You feel
a
guilty about something, it's like an emotional representation.
no, it's like when you're eating something and someone says something and it like kind of turns your stomach and like or like
Yeah.
it's like an anxiety inducing and like your mouth kind of dries
That
out
makes
and
much more sense.
you like have to kind of choke down the food a little bit. That's
Yes.
like, it went ashen in my mouth and like the like sort of dry like, what I would assume licking ash is like, where you're just kind of like, ugh, that's like it's really dry and it's gross.
But
You have
I
to
think
wash
it's
your
not
mouth
used
out.
in that context, like, in
No,
these. It's, like, literally,
it's
like,
used
"This food tastes like ash."
yeah. You're
So I'm
like,
like,
what?
"No, it doesn't."
Yeah. And I'm like, what? Why are you? Why? How do you
If
know that?
anything, it'd be more interesting if she was like,
If
"I
it
grew up my
felt
whole life
like
eating
ash,
these potatoes, and yet somehow they tasted sour and bitter in ways that I never had noticed." Like, if it
hmm
was just, like, talking about the heightened sense and,
yeah.
like, "Oh, this chicken tasted like,
Or even if it's a texture thing, even where
Yeah.
it's like it's the tag it felt like ash in my mouth,
Yes.
or like it, something like that, where it was just like, ugh,
Yeah.
who's Orion?
Zodiac Academy, he's the
Yeah,
cinnamon one. Yeah,
he's the
and I just am
cinnamon
like,
one.
cinnamon
Yeah, and
is
so there's certain sense that I'm okay with them being compared to like characteristics and like tones and moods for a person, right? So like if if you have someone who is like rough around the edges, right? And they're salty or they smell like sea and citrus, right? Okay, so then it's a little bit salty, right?
Mhm.
And can be abrasive, right? Okay,
Yeah.
great. And then it kind of mixes with the personality a little bit, right?
See,
Now,
I don't even really like
does that need to
that.
come up 17 times?
No.
No.
Yeah.
But
True. If
Okay.
it was seldomly mentioned, I
Yeah.
can see that. Although I like
Or even, like, with, like, characters who have, like, a motherly feel to them, if they have, like, a vanilla scent or a cinnamon scent that's really warm, because
yes.
sometimes that can kind of, you're like, "Oh, like, they have a, a sort of a comforting smell to them." Although I hate the smell of vanilla, but it is a warm scent. Um,
I think I actually like it better when it's like, oh, this is what telling talking about what someone chooses to wear themselves
yeah,
is much more interesting to me.
yeah,
So like someone who chooses a really harsh floral scent, a really
mhm,
intense, like
yeah.
you know the kind of person who like puts on like so much chlorine. What is it? Cologne that you can
Cologne?
smell them from
Yeah,
like 5 feet away. Like it's a certain kind of
yeah,
guy,
yep,
and a certain kind of girl.
yeah.
And like so, and I honestly I feel like Reese is one of those. Like he's like a moderate to heavy not chlorine cologne user, like I feel like you can smell him, but he doesn't. Is it salt and citrus? No, it's
Maybe that's why Azrael smells just of like wind and whatever else. Here, let me pull this back up. Azrael smells of
wind.
night chilled mist and cedar. He's just like it's just cedar is like his deodorant, but other than that, he's like, I'm not wearing. He's like, I'm trying to blend into shit, man. I'm trying to
Yeah.
hide in the shadows.
Whereas Reese, he's
I
got
can't
that
be smelling
fancy
like
shirt.
I can't be walking around smelling like lemons. Are you kidding me? People would spot me from a mile away. Ooh, maybe Reese smells like tequila, salts and lime,
Ew,
citrus
that
and
makes me
sea.
nauseous. I hate the smell of tequila. No, no. But I do like it when it's like something that they're gonna wear. Like actually down here we have Zayden. I think it's not very talked about very much, but it says somebody on Reddit. I just pulled this.
Yeah.
Apparently he smells like mint, leather, and citrus. I like the leather because that's like he probably is wearing the riding leathers.
Yep. Yep.
And maybe the citrus and the mint is like that's what he chooses to.
Hmm.
No, mint and citrus doesn't seem to go together. Whatever. I like that it feels like
Well,
realistic.
it talks
He's
about
like
his soap. It
he
talks about
brushed
his
his
soap smelling
teeth
like
and
that.
he used fucking
Hmm.
citrus deodorant. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do also like how it says this person. So I just like pulled this post from Reddit and it's talking about how like he says that he likes the perfume that Violet says, and she's like, "It's just my soap." Like that because that's like actually that's so much more
Yes.
realistic.
Yes.
And then so moon hatched Khan, he
Hmm.
smells smoky musk pinched with the smell of freshly split stone, softened with notes of something buttery. I have like both a love hate relationship with this because I feel like it's too specific, but I also feel like this is not something that gets repeated. So maybe it's like the
Hmm.
one time I can kind of weirdly get the vibe of freshly split stone. I think it's a little too weird. And then I
Hmm.
like the reaching for notes of something buttery, but also like buttery. I just no, like buttery. I don't know. It's a little. I think he just says like a. He smells like a lumber yard, and he tried to cover it up with
Sorry,
some freaking oil.
I'm dying. The way you said buttery, like it's the most disgusting. Sorry. The way you said buttery, like it was so offensive.
Smell butter right now. You want your man to smell like that?
Oh, Jesus Christ. He smelled like a southern miner, smoky, split stone, and butter.
Yes.
He's Appalachian miner is what he smells like. When I just when you're just like buttery. Sorry. But also buttery? So offended. He smells greasy as fuck.
Yes.
He
Yes.
smells like high cholesterol.
Um.
Oh my god.
Hey.
Yeah. Do you think that it is essential the same way as describing a place visually as it is to describe the place through the other four senses?
Well. Oh. Okay. Places are totally different.
Okay.
You should 100% talk about the scent of a place. It's people that I think is weird.
But you also don't think that you necessarily need to describe the
Well, that's my instinct, and it's kind of not the best instinct. Most
Yeah,
people want a description. I just don't prioritize appearances or descriptions
got
like
it.
that, so I probably will do it last in all my books,
Mhm.
type of thing. But I do know that people need it, but I just don't.
So places should you and would you be okay
Yes,
with a place smelling like
yes, yeah, yeah,
citrus
yeah,
and
yeah.
cinnamon? Something
Yeah, I
specific
think,
like
like, if
that?
you're in a frickin' orange orchard, it will smell like straight up oranges,
Yeah.
and, like, that's fair. I think it's
Mhm.
weird, like, a person is just not gonna smell like
Yeah.
specific things, but absolutely, like, that's I think is a huge aspect actually, is scent when it comes to
Mhm.
places.
Okay.
And you're just gonna describe, like, kinda the if it's a lumber mill, you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
"It's wood shavings," okay?
Yeah.
It's not
Which
like
is which is one of my favorite smells in the whole wide world.
really? So
Mhm.
random.
My dad was a
Definitely.
contractor or
Okay.
construction worker, which
Yeah.
is weird because I don't have great associations with him, but the
But
smell
you
of the
somehow like it.
yeah, the smell of the lumberyard. It also reminds me of when I was in wood shop because I
Oh.
did wood shop in high school. Yeah, I don't know. The smell of cedar, especially when it's being cut and it burns a little bit, it's freaking amazing.
I don't really know. I don't know a lot of smells. Like I know. Like, I think I like rain would probably be my favorite smell.
Yeah.
But I don't really. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I like the smell
Well,
of like the ocean has a specific. So like sea,
yeah.
I'm not mad at when people say they smell like the sea or whatever. This the ocean has
Have
a
you ever met
specific
a person who smelled like the sea?
smell. No.
Yeah, it's
Now,
like
if you are sea fae, that makes sense.
yeah, that's different. But that's kind of like the
Yeah,
magical
so,
implication.
like,
Yeah.
in now they don't have this smell, not that I recall, but, like, so one of the characters in the Everseas, he is literally a sea fae, like, he lives in
Hmm.
the Everseas, like, that's his realm, right? It's
Hmm.
underwater, to some degree, anyways, regardless.
Hmm.
So it makes sense that the people from there would smell like the sea, and then he also has, like, it's not a cigarette, but there's, like, some sort of something that he smokes a lot, right?
Okay.
And so I'm like, it's like a clove cigarette or something. He's like smoking a clove of some sort. So I'm like, it would make sense if he smelled like the sea and clove because he's
Yes.
smoking.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
That
great.
I'm totally fine with.
Yeah. Or like, yeah,
Yeah.
like my grandpa smelled like pipe tobacco because he smoked a pipe
Yeah.
and like pipe
That
tobacco
is fair game. That,
specifically.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Or even like, yeah. Yeah, like like we were talking about with the cigarette brands, like even that
Yeah.
is like very distinct. There's a lady who lives below us who definitely smokes in her bathroom at 2 a.m. who lives like 2 floors down, but I can smell it because I'm like, I know that smell.
Yeah. That's funny.
And it's just like coming through the
Like
pipes.
it's like the smell of hookah. Regardless of what smell or what flavors you kind of blend together, there's just like a certain smell of hookah smoke, and it's so specific. And when I smoked hookah for a long time,
Mhm.
um, that I would be able to be like, "That's a hookah."
Yeah. So did we talk about everything that we wanted to talk
I
about?
think we talked about everything.
Okay, so what are we talking about next week?
Writing voice versus character voice.
Okay. Okay, so and that's what we're gonna do next week?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, next week we'll talk about writing and character voice. But yeah, until then,
Keep reading.
keep writing.